Because that's the thing about what Doc did. He taught in principles.
Mm-hmm.
He taught in mathematical and scientific principles where he gave us entries.
Mm-hmm.
Doc showed you how to get in.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But there's 3 parts to every fight.
Yes, sir.
You got to get in, that's your entry.
Mm-hmm.
You got to do your work,
That's right.
and you got to get out.
That's right.
That give you the entry. He said, go in, look around, and see what you want to do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know,
He-
and that's what we did. We did our homework,
Mm-hmm.
and I taught my daughter. I taught everybody, anybody who ever came under me. I always emphasize, no teacher can teach you everything about anything
Right, right.
in one class.
Yes, sir.
All we can best do is show you how to go in
Mm-hmm.
to areas and see what's there.
Yes, sir.
And when you do your homework,
Mm-hmm.
when you study what you got, is what opens up to you
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
all of the possibilities
Teach.
of what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Doc never taught students to be imitators of him.
That's correct.
The best thing you try to do is be as near to doing what he showed you as he did it.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't do
Yes, sir.
what Doc did like Doc did.
Yes, sir.
I knew that early on.
Yes, sir. Yes,
But
sir.
I at least tried to be as near to it as possible so that when I went and studied it on my own, I was operating from the math that he put down.
You know, he once told me, he said, James, just take this, now put yourself into the
Yes,
technique, and now the technique is yours.
Yes, sir.
And with that in mind, you said that your daughter's not following in your footsteps. I understand that. But she looks just like you. When I see her move,
Yes, sir.
like you have this thing you do before you hit somebody, you raise your shoulder. And every time I see her move, it's like, man, she's just like her father. Now, I've been hit by you before, so I know what it feels like. And did you see the work that she and I did together with
Yes,
the
sir.
forms?
Yes, I thought it was beautiful, brother.
That was
beautiful.
awesome, because what was funny about that, I said to her, I said, come here for a minute, let me talk to you. I want to ask you something I want you to do. And before I could even open my mouth, she said, can we please do the previous form? And I said, wow, that's exactly what I want to do.
Because she knew from me who you were.
Yes, sir.
When
Yes,
she
sir.
asked me, Pop, how come everybody in the system don't do the peer forms?
Right.
I could only tell her that it's because everybody don't see the same thing.
Oh,
We could
geez.
all be sitting in the class
Mhm.
and the teacher say one thing, but we all perceive it differently.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
When Doc dropped the peer forms,
Mhm.
I didn't know what I had when I had first gotten them.
Well, hold that peer form thought.
Okay.
Because my question is, how did it feel? How was it to learn the peer forms in the 70s
Mm-hmm.
from Dr. Moses Powell? What have you done with those forms? I know you put them in your daughter, but what have you done with the peer forms, and how was it? Talk us through it, how it was to learn those forms from him, and what are you doing with the forms today?
Well, let's take the first part of the question. How did it feel to get the forms? To get the forms back in the 70s was like, I didn't really understand what they were.
Yes, sir.
Like most people in martial arts, the teacher tell you to do something, you do it.
Yes, sir.
I got the forms down. My partner Jimmy came, dropped them on me because he was in class the day that they were dropped.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, okay, these are the peer forms, and we started working.
Mm-hmm.
And because I had a familiarity with forms already from Goshen-Do, when we started working on the forms, it was just trying to do it as accurately as the person in front of me was trying to show me how to do it.
Yes, sir.
Because neither of us really had an understanding of what the forms were. At the time, we just knew they were forms to be done
Yes, sir.
in a specific, chronological order,
Mm-hmm.
in a particular manner.
Yes, sir.
But my blessing was really, as far as the forms go, because once Doc dropped the forms,
Mm-hmm.
it was, I'd say early 70s,
Yes, sir.
he stopped. Doc was off
Right.
into something
Right.
else.
Yes, sir. Right.
It wasn't
right.
like
right.
everybody in Sanuces was still doing them.
Right.
A lot of people never even heard of piriforms
That's
until much
correct.
later on,
That's correct.
because some people were still doing them, and there was always this whisper in Sanuces of pia.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of whether you knew what it was or not, you knew there was something called pia, and you
Yes,
sooner or
sir.
later was
Yes,
going
sir.
to look
Yes,
for
sir.
it. You
Yes,
know?
sir.
So with me, when I had the piriforms, yes, I learned them, we studied them, we did them, but I didn't really understand the significance of the piriforms until I actually left Doc.
Yes, sir.
I left New York in 1980
Mm-hmm.
and went out to California.
Mm-hmm.
When I went out to California, of course, like anybody else, I looked around, said, okay, let me see how to find a school or whatever.
Right.
And there wasn't any place that caught my interest.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see any teachers
Mm-hmm.
that were showing me or teaching
Mm-hmm.
in a manner that I was used to being taught
Yes, sir.
at Sanuces.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay, let me just go work out by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And once I started working out, it was impossible to just think in terms of, okay, let me remember this technique, that technique.
Mm-hmm.
But I had the forms.
Yes.
And I kept doing the forms.
Mm-hmm.
And after a while, Brother James, there was one day I was doing the forms, and the forms started talking to me.
Go ahead.
They started moving me.
Yes, sir.
They started giving me insights
Mm-hmm.
and, how you say, dreams of being able to do things
Wow.
that did not come to me before I really started looking at the
Mhm,
forms for what
mhm,
they were.
mhm.
When I started really realizing what the forms were, to put it quickly and concise and compact, because we don't have all day for this interview, the PIA forms were and are a roadmap from Doc of what he saw
Mm-hmm.
the PIA or Sanuces
Mm-hmm.
to be
Yes, sir.
at the time that he was dropping those forms and developing them and dropping them.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I believe he knew what a person would have if they studied the PIA forms
Yes, sir.
into the future.
Us. Yes, sir.
So when you see me working the PIA forms, what you see is a student who did his homework.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I studied
Mm-hmm.
what the forms had. The forms, how you say, when you study a thing, it teaches you.
Yes, sir. Very.
And that's what the PIA does. The PIA, you don't have to know the PIA forms to do Sanuces,
Right.
because so many people don't.
That's correct. That's
But
correct.
if you do know the PIA forms, you will be able to understand Sanuces in an entirely different way.
Okay.
There's a spirituality, there's a science,
Teach.
and there's a normalcy
Mm-hmm.
to Sanuces
Yes, sir.
that the PIA brings to you.
Yes, sir.
PIA teaches you not just movements, but possibilities.
Yes, sir. That's right. That's right. That's right.
PIA, every form
Mm-hmm.
is a multiple attack.
Yes, sir.
The first form is 7 people attacking you.
Teach. Teach. Teach.
Let's not even go to the first form. Let's go to the salutation. The
Yeah.
salutation is only 8 moves.
Right.
But it's 8 moves that you can use to create. Doctor used to say,
teach
for
a whole class.
everything, I say every principle I teach you, there are 1,000 variations.
That's right.
If you take the salutation on the PIA form,
That's
you
right.
got 8,000 moves. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's right.